I'm live. Hey, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I have some news for you. If you're a tax preparer or a taxpayer, either one, you definitely want to tune in to this live video. Let me make sure I'm live on all of my channels. I should be live on YouTube, LinkedIn, my business Facebook page, and my personal Facebook page. I'm so frustrated with the Internal Revenue Service right now. I just don't know. I just don't know. Okay, looks like I'm live. It's working. Good evening. Share the live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I also want to pop this up. Prop it up right there. Good evening. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Today has been a very long day. I won't hold you long. I just want to share some information to tax professionals, and tax preparers that are representing clients before the Internal Revenue Service. All of these inexperienced agents, that's all I can do. Deep sigh. Very, very, very deep sigh because they don't have a clue what is going on. I think the Internal Revenue Service just threw them the Internal Revenue Manual and threw them on the phone because they know absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It takes. Can you guess how many times it takes me to call the Internal Revenue Service now to actually get an agent that halfway know what they're talking about? Take a guess. Take a wild guess. I will share with you before I end the live how many times it took me today to reach one agent that knew what they were talking about. The rest of them, I had to either hang up on them, ask for a manager callback, had to be transferred. I can tell when they answer the phone if it's a good agent or not. And if you don't speak good English, I'm hanging up on you. I'm hanging up. I'm hanging up. I need to be able to understand you. I need you to be able to understand what I'm saying. I ain't got that kind of time to be trying to figure out what you're trying to say. Um, so I'll share with you my frustration at what happened today at the office. So I received a message yesterday to call an appeals officer back. I don't know why they always wait until the end of the day, knowing we are either on the way home or just burnt out for the day from training them and their co-workers at the Internal Revenue Service. So an appeals officer, and this was very shocking to me because the appeals officers are normally like very good agents. Like when I get ready to talk to an appeals officer, I'll be like, yes, like they know what they're talking about, their experience, it's gonna be a breeze, they're independent. Nah, that ain't what's been happening. So even on the appeal side, it's getting rough because they are hiring new agents, appeal officers as well, not just customer service reps. So let me get into what happened. So I got to the office this morning and I received the message that an appeals officer wanted me to call him back ASAP. So this appeals officer is in, I think he said he was in the Cleveland office. I don't remember what office he was in because when I first talked to him about a month ago, I could barely understand what the hell he was saying because of his language barrier. It was really, really bad. It was so bad that my client called me and he was like, I don't want to talk to this man. I can't even understand what he's saying. And I'm like, first of all, why is he calling you? When you are representing a client, if you don't know this is for tax professionals. When you're representing a client and you have a power of attorney on file, the Internal Revenue Service is not supposed to bypass your power of attorney and call your client unless they can't reach you. Then okay, yeah, now you can call the client if you can't reach me. So I'm like, first of all, hey Karen, hey girlin, I miss y'all. How y'all doing? I'm on here chatting about my frustration with the Internal Revenue Service, and this will be useful for you too. So stay on. So I was like, first of all, what is he doing calling you? And he was like, I don't know. So we were thinking maybe it's a scam because we can't understand what he's saying. The language barrier is very, very bad. And he didn't have my information at all. So he said. So at the end of the conversation, I realized that I did not want to work with him. I could not work with him because I could barely understand what he was saying. And this client that I'm currently representing before appeals, which we're waiting on now, he has 6 years that they're auditing. So I have thousands and thousands of paperwork to present my case. Like I got exhibits, I got cases, I got files, I got bank records, bank statements. I got thousands of pages, and no, I don't want to do this appeals hearing over the phone. I want to go in person. And if I need to fly to Chicago or Cleveland or wherever you are, then set it up. I get paid premium fees, so I travel for my clients. As a matter of fact, I got to go to Montgomery for a client tomorrow. So he was like, so you don't want to work with me? And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to work with you. I just want to have an in-person appeal hearing. I told him I didn't want to have it over the phone. And if you know IRS law, you have that right. You have that right to request an in-person appeals hearing. So he told me that he had to research it and get back with me. And I'm like, oh, Lord, now we finna drag this out some more. So a whole month has passed by, as I expected. And now he left a message saying that he can't do an in-person appeal hearing. He can't send my case, the case that he's working on, that I'm representing a client for. He can't send my case to the Atlanta office so I can have an in-person appeal hearing. I'm like, oh Lord, he must be new. So I told him, he told me my only options was to either do the conference over the phone, the hearing over the phone, or go to trial. I'll take it to trial. But first, let me talk to your manager because you don't know your playbook. I should not know your playbook better than you. Okay? So the manager told him that we do have that right to an in-person hearing. So when you are representing these clients, you better make sure you know tax law because even the appeals officers don't even know diddly squat now. And this is the second one that I had to train. I'm tired of training Internal Revenue Service employees. Another thing that happened today, it took me this many times. This is 21. It took me 21 times. I had to call the Internal Revenue Service 21 times today just to get one agent that knew what she was talking about. That is scary. Yes, Karen said that's scary. It's scary. It's frustrating as hell. They do courtesy disconnects. after you waited on hold for 30 to 45 minutes. And now, even within queue, you are still on hold, especially if you're trying to reach somebody in examinations. I don't care how you're calling through. I've been on hold for 30 to 45 minutes every time I call, trying to reach somebody in examinations to get this new client records. I need the audit report and the administrative file. It took me all day. It should not have taken me 21 times for somebody to give me what I needed. It doesn't matter how long it's been. One of them said, "Oh, the audit was in 2015. We don't have those records." I just hung up. I didn't even feel like explaining myself to them. And I'm like, really? As long as the statute has not expired, I can get those records. um, I'm so frustrated, y'all, because I still didn't get everything done that I needed to get done today. So I've spent my entire day on one client. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating that they hang up on us when they feel like it. They act like they don't hear us sometimes. They tell us we're in the wrong department. Like, you go back and forth and back and forth. And today, I got so frustrated with one of the agents because he told me he will not speak to me, or he will not verify me. He can't finish verifying me because I didn't have my client's middle initial. Since when? It's ridiculous, and it's so frustrating. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm not like, we really got into an argument, and I'm yelling, and I'm like, I forgot that I was talking to the Internal Revenue Service. I was so frustrated, and we were going back and forth, and I'm like, what is your agent ID number? What is your name, and what's your manager name? He gave me all the wrong damn information. Normally, I don't even take the time out to try to reach the manager to make a complaint. But today, I was going to make a complaint on him because you telling me you can't give me any information because I don't have a client's middle initial? That's crazy as hell. Show me that shit in the Internal Revenue Manual or in the Internal Revenue Code. It's so frustrating. The Internal Revenue Service needs to record their calls for these agents because it's so damn frustrating for us. We're trying to help the clients. The clients have rights. They have a right to representation. They have a right to fair representation. How am I supposed to represent them if I can't even get the records from the Internal Revenue Service because the agents don't have a damn clue of what's going on? Woo! It's so frustrating, y'all. It's so frustrating. Garland said, "Hey, Garland, did he not know, or is that a common practice with them?" I guess that they're not trained. I guess I don't know what type of training that they're giving the new agents, but clearly it's little to none because they just don't have a clue on what's going on. They can't even verify you right anymore. So if you call the Internal Revenue Service now, just have the middle initial just in case, so you won't be sitting on hold for nothing. And he wouldn't even allow me to open the client's tax return to get that information for him. He told me I had to hang up and call and talk to somebody else to get it. He said he can't hold. I just held on this damn phone for 30 minutes, and you telling me you can't hold for a second for me to open a tax return to get you a middle initial that you don't even damn need to verify me? Baby, let me tell you, if you are getting into tax representation, it's amazing. I love it, but you gotta have a passion for it because if you don't, you're gonna get burnt out in the first month. I promise you. I love it. I love it. And I really love it because I know their playbook. So I can tell them when they're right or when they're wrong. You got to know their playbook in order to win. I'm telling you, you will lose representation cases if you don't know the Internal Revenue Service's playbook because they don't damn know it. So somebody got to know something, and that somebody is gonna be you. If you're being paid premium fees, you got to know. You have to know the law. You have to know the law. So that was my chaos with the Internal Revenue Service. Now I have chaos with Alabama Department of Revenue. I think this will be my last, and I say this every time I get a case with Alabama Department of Revenue. The Alabama Department of Revenue is so freaking far behind time. They won't even allow you to put nothing on hold. Like, you know how you can call the Internal Revenue Service and you can request the collections hold? Department of Alabama Department of Revenue, they the worst people to work with. They are the worst. They don't even have a portal for tax professionals that are representing clients. Like if you've ever represented somebody with Georgia Department of Revenue, you can get a GTC account and you can get all that client's information from out of your GTC account. Not with Alabama, you can't. You cannot, you cannot, you cannot, you cannot. Karen says, when is the in-person appeal? So I don't have a date yet. I got into an argument with the current appeals officer because he told me that I could not request an in-person hearing. I spoke with his manager, and his manager is going to transfer my case out. It'll probably be in the Atlanta office because that's the closest office to me. I don't have a date yet. I don't have a date yet. Hopefully, it'll be soon because this case has been in appeals for over 8 months. And this client is, I know he's ready to get this over and done with. He owes over $2 million. And can you just imagine waking up every day having that over your head? Like you owe the IRS close to $2 million. So I'm trying to move this case as fast as I can for him. And that's why I can't really be on social media a lot because I'm working cases. Like I don't have the extra time. And when I'm researching a case and when I'm working the case, it's hard for me to stop. Because if I stop, then I got to refocus all over again. Because, you know, you're doing a lot of researching. You are looking up cases to help build a good case for your client because it's just like with tax attorneys. We got to have cases to support um, what we are trying to have done. So you got to know those cases, those different tax cases. So are agents hostile towards EAs? No, I don't think they're hostile towards EAs. I just think they just don't have a clue what's going on with tax law. I think that they are reading a script, and if it sounds like what you're asking for is difficult, they're either going to hang up on you. We call it a courtesy IRS disconnect. They're gonna lie and say that they can't help you and transfer you somewhere, and you just gonna get thrown all over the place. Yeah, I don't think it's anything against EAs. I just think that they just don't know what they're doing because they're being put on the phones without receiving the proper training. Because the IRS, they've hired all of these people, and they putting them to work, but it's bad though for us because now it it takes a lot of time for me to get the right agent on the phone, especially if I just already don't feel like it, and now I got to train you. I just hang up and call somebody. I'll call back. And I'll hang up and I'll call back and hang up and call back until I get somebody that knows what they're talking about. And it's sad that we have to do that, but in order to get the best deal for my client, I need to be talking to an agent that knows what's going on. And God forbid if it's a new enrolled agent or a person that's new to the tax industry and don't really know law. I feel bad for them. That's why it's important for all new enrolled agents before you work these cases on your own. I highly recommend that you get a mentor because otherwise you're going to be losing cases left and right. Yesterday, I called in to set up an installment agreement for a client who has a levy in place. the wages are being garnished. And they told me, without even asking for the financials, that the client would have to pay $22,000 a month um, for a payment plan. And I'm like, I haven't even given you any information yet, but I didn't say anything. And I was like, huh. I said, do you mind sharing how you came up with that amount? And she said that I looked up the income, and that's what we got. I said, so are you not going to go by the client's current financial situation? You're not going to ask for any financials or anything to see if that will can reduce that amount? That they're not going to do that, y'all. These customer service agents is working in the best interest of the government. If you call in and you are a tax professional that's new, or if you are a taxpayer that can't afford representation, or that's trying to handle your case on your own, you're in trouble. I promise you. If I didn't know tax law, I would have had to tell my client the least I can get you for a payment plan is $22,000 a month. It's not possible. That man, they don't make that much. Make it make sense. You know how much I offered based off of his financials? He should be approved between $2,000 and $2,500. That's a long ass stretch from $22,000. Like, I don't even know how they coming up with this stuff, but it's bad. It's bad, and I understand that they are trying to hire agents to go after um, all these people with tax evasion, and they're not paying their taxes. And I get it, but don't just hire somebody from the street and throw them on the phone. It's not right, because everybody can't afford representation. Everybody can't afford representation. So they should at least be able to get the quality service from the Internal Revenue Service. But you're not going to get that. I promise you, you're not. If you're just tuning in, it took me 21 times to contact the Internal Revenue Service today to get one agent that knew what they were talking about. It's a lot of time being wasted. Let's see. There is no complaint procedure. It is that you will have to just get the agent ID and their name, and they probably don't give you the correct information, because today I literally tried to do a complaint, but when I called the Internal Revenue Service to get that person's manager's name, they gave me a fake agent ID number. So, and the sad part about it is they don't give a damn. They're not being recorded. So how are they going to be punished? They're not logging the calls. They're not being recorded. So they can hang up on us as much as they want to. They can give us the wrong information. Like, it's no consequences behind the bullshit that they do. And the Internal Revenue Service needs to do something about it. They really do. So I just wanted to jump on here to let you all know to make sure that you learn and understand tax law. If you are new, get a mentor, because it's bad in these tax streets. Is real bad. One more thing I wanted to address. I don't know why people are, and this is for tax professionals. I see a lot of posts on social media about tax professionals not being paid, and they're working under other people's EFIN. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand. I cannot for the life of me understand why won't you, as a tax professional, go out and get your own EFIN and start your own tax firm. Like, unless you are a convicted felon and can't get an EFIN in your name, it's easy as hell to get you an Ethan, get you a software. Like it's what's what's going on? I don't prepare taxes anymore. So that world is, I don't even know what's going on over there. What happened that people are having to work under other people's EFIN? Why can't they get their own EFIN? What is going on? Probably can't qualify themselves. Then if you are a convicted felon and you cannot get your own EFIN, you probably don't need to be doing taxes. This probably isn't the industry for you. And I'm just being real, because how long, like it's kind of like you can't excel because you're gonna have to forever work up under somebody. Like I don't understand that. I don't understand that. It's so easy to get an EFIN. Like the process is so easy. You go to irs.gov, create you a P10, create you an online e-services account, submit the application to get an EFIN. Like it's so easy, y'all. Unless you are a convicted felon and can't, I don't know, you got past due taxes, you can owe taxes and get an EFIN. You just have to have a resolution plan in place. If you owe taxes, you can still get an EFIN. Call and get a installment agreement set up, go in non-collectible status, submit offering compromise. I don't know, but it's owing or having a tax issue, unless it's unresolved, that won't stop you from being able to get your own EFIN. Karen said, fact of the matter is a lot of them don't know tax law. Yeah, that's true too. They rely on algorithms and formulas in the software. Yeah, I get that. But if that's the case, then still they can still get their own EFIN. If there are tax professionals out there that are allowing people to work under them and they're not paying people, like why wouldn't you want to get your own EFIN? That's why many only do individuals. Yeah. Oh yeah, I get, listen, I know who really knows tax law in Columbus, Georgia. I get a lot of audits from people that don't know what they're doing. They are the reason. Every time I speak with the Internal Revenue Service, it has nothing to do with the client. The audit came from the bullshit that the tax preparer put on that client's tax return. If you have a business and your business is, let's say your business, you're a hairstylist, you should not have any deductions dealing with a pet store or architect. Like your title, your business and your business expenses, all that got to make sense together. And people are just throwing stuff on the return. They just clicking stuff and they just trying to get the numbers up, and they're not paying attention to what's being put on the return. But and they're also sometimes leaving the title blank. If you leave the title blank, that's a red flag for an audit. And I see a lot of people doing that. They're leaving the codes blank. They're leaving the titles blank. The business expenses aren't making sense with the business. I don't know. It's, y'all listen. Leave the tax industry if you don't know what you're doing. Okay? Y'all making it hard for the people that really knows what they're doing. Because I got to re-explain all this stuff. I have to tell some clients, throw everything they told you, throw it out. None of that shit is true. None of it makes sense. None of it is tax law. No, I cannot do that for you. Well, they did this and they did that. Well, that's why you're audited. That's why you can't deduct the the bank fees. You can't do that. y'all would be surprised some of the stuff that I see with these businesses. And Karen, you're right. A lot of tax professionals are just keen. That's it. They're keen to get the highest number. They don't care what happens to the client after they're paid, and they're ghosts. And sometimes they don't even put their information on the return. And I be trying to tell taxpayers, like, make sure that whoever does your tax return, make sure that that information is on that return. Make sure they sign that return. Don't allow them to put self prepare on that return, because if something comes back, even though you'll still be responsible for it, but they gonna think you did it. So you've been paid that tax preparer, and they ghost because they made your tax return self prepared, like you did it. Garland said data entry. Yes, data entry. Yeah, I don't know. This service bureau stuff, I don't even understand how it works. Like, this is it may be old, but I've never been into trying to figure out how to do something under nobody. No, I want my own shit. No, I ever since I've been a tax preparer, I've never ever worked under anybody. Never. I took training at H&R Block, and I opened up my own. I only had 15 clients my first year. I mean, you got to start from somewhere. But I know where I'm not going to start. I'm not going to start working under nobody, especially if it's the blind leading the blind. And that's what I'm seeing online. Like, it's literally the blind is leading the blind. You are following somebody that don't know what the hell they're talking about. All they're doing is keying in numbers, and because they're following up, you think that, yeah, I, yeah, y'all can have that. Then a year after a year, business has reflected loss after loss. Yes, they don't explain the hobby loss rules. They don't explain that to them. I've gotten an audit where this lady filed a loss on the business 6 years straight. 6 years straight. They didn't tell them about the business loss rule, and none of it made sense. None of it made sense. I be feeling so sorry for these people that don't know any better. But that's why I am training tax professionals how to become enrolled agents. I got on my EA bootcamp sweatshirt today. If you're a tax professional and you're interested in becoming an enrolled agent, that's the best thing to do, is to learn, become an enrolled agent. Because after a while, the Internal Revenue Service file system is going to take over individual returns. So who return you going to be filing? You need to learn business corporations if you still want to do returns. If you don't, then you can do representation. You can do planning. There's so many other things that you can do in the tax industry, and make some real money. You don't have to put a fake business on a Schedule C on a 1040 to make money. Like, if y'all still doing that, just close shop down, please. Close it down. Close it down. Yes, I'm going to post them, Karen, this fall. I had to get my samples first. I'm in love with them. I'm selling them. Is that Misha? Hey, Misha! Oh, my EA boot camp family on here tonight. Hey, y'all. Y'all better get to studying. All right. Well, I gotta go. I got another case that I'm working on that I gotta go to Montgomery tomorrow for a client. I gotta go visit Alabama Department of Revenue, and they are in Montgomery, Alabama. So let me check over my case again before I get ready for bed. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you share this live with your peers if they are tax professionals, and also to your clients. Let your clients know, do not call the IRS to call you because the IRS agents don't know what's going on. So I'm telling you, they don't know. All right, y'all. Have an amazing night, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.